Hello everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diaries. Today I'll give you the complete walkthrough of one of the retired machine of Hack the Box, that's static. It's a hard machine and in this machine I've tried to get it cover all the stuffs is like it includes couple of stuffs. It's include two machines which to get it compromised and finally we'll get the root flag. So it's really an interesting machine and it's a write up. It's also a longer one. It's almost I think 30 or 39 pages write up is there, and it take almost a longer time for me to get it compromised this machine. So now let's go to my system and we'll try to see like what are the steps we have to take it to get it compromised this machine. So it's a hard machine. So our approach for to get it solved this machine is totally different. So I'll start with Nmap first. We have to identify the ports first, and on the basis of that we have to decide like what's our approach. So as per the output we can see port number 22, port quad 2 and 8080. These are the three ports is enabled on the target machine. So what's our next step for it? We'll try to get it access the web HTTP first, that we call it as port 8080. We'll try to get it access on our browser first and try to get understand what exactly the stuff we can able to access and what type of stuff is it available on 8080. So now we try to get it access the IP address on port 8080. It's 10.10.10.246:8080. Okay, so right now you can see like we are not able to get any output. Okay, so just to get to know like what exactly the subdirectory of it, we'll go for the GoBuster so that we can able to identify is there any subdirectory or is there any accessible path of this URL. So we'll try to get it hit that and wait for the output. So as we can see like we are getting slash index.php and slash robots.txt. So these are the two things which we are getting in our output itself. So let me try to get it access the robust.txt first and try to get understand what exactly the output we are getting it over here. Okay, so by this way we can able to see two sections. Okay, one is dot ftp underscore uploads and another one is a VPN. Okay, so we'll approach one by one all the stuffs. Okay, we'll go for this FTP one first. Let me try to open it on another tab and let me copy it this content. Okay, when we try to get it access this, we're able to see the directory listing over here. So the first thing we have to go inside of the warning.txt. Here we can see the binary files are being corrupted during transfer. Check if are recoverable. Okay, that's a clue for us, and this is the file which is present over there itself. Okay, other than that, if I can see like what exactly that inside of that VPN subdirectory, so I'll try to access that VPN one also. So this is a VPN one. Okay, sorry, still over. Okay, so by default when we try to get it access this, so we can see like it's a complete blank for us. We try to get it access that, so we have to retrieve the password for password and username of this section so that we can able to get it logged inside of this portal. Okay, so what's our approach for it? We simply have to get it download this file. As we get the clue from the warning.txt that this file is a corrupted one, so we can't retrieve that information directly, so we have to look around from some solution for it to make this file appropriate so that we can retrieve the content out of it. So let me download this file first. Okay, now we'll go for it, the next step for it. So couple of things which I have to do it on my system itself just to make sure that the process will be appropriate. Okay, so I'll stop this section now over here. You simply have to install G++. It's a type of compiler you have to get it installed this. Okay, on my system it's already installed, so it's just showing like that. If it's possible on your system it's not present, you have to get it installed so that at the time of running and making that stuff working for you. Nothing is a dependency is creating a problem for you. Okay, so the next step is we simply have to go to this. There is one GitHub link which I have find it to, which can fix this GZ file, which is a corrupted one for us. So what I have to do, I simply have to clone this. Okay, so in my case, I've already cloned it on my system, so I'm not cloning it once again, but this is the path for it, which you have to use it to make that setup be cloned on your system, by which we can recover the content of that GZ file, which is corrupted one. Okay, once it's cloned on your system, you simply have to go inside of that folder. Now we just have to check what are the content is present inside of it, and I can see like these are the two files normally be present on your system itself. Okay, this, just ignore this file. Okay, you just have to concentrate on these two files first. Okay, so now what we have to do, we simply have to use G++ over here, which I've already installed on my system. I simply have to use .cpp file, which we call it as a C base file. So over here it's using C++. So that was the reason it's .cpp. If it's only a C, then in that case .c is the extension for it. So we are using C++ files to get it compiled over here, and the output file we just name it as fixed.gz. Okay, let me run this. Okay, successfully it will work for you, and now we'll go for the next step for it. Now using this same file, we try to retrieve the content out of it. Okay, so this is the stuff which I just want to get it recovered. So the file which I have created over here after compiling the C++ code, and this is the file path where exactly the file is present which we have downloaded from the portal, and this is the output name which we have to give it. Okay, now it's done with that. We'll have to go back to our download section, and now what we have to do, we simply have to unzip it. So I have to run one command, gunzip, and with that file db.gz. Okay, so wait a minute, I think that file is already present over there itself, so I just have to go inside of it. Okay, we'll run this, as this file is already extracted earlier by me, so that was the reason it's asking for the override. We'll click yes and done. Okay, now we can check. So we can see db file is present over there itself. So what we have to do with this db file now, we simply have to try to get it access this db file. So we can see the content in front of us. Okay, over here we can see the username as admin. There is one hash is present over there itself, and this is looks like TOTP. It's a type of two-factor authentication type of stuff where we will supposed to get the token, and it's a type of secret key which I call it as over here. Okay, so what's the next step for it? We simply have to make it one file. So let me make one hash file over here. Okay, I'll put the content which I'm getting it on my screen. I'll just simply have to copy this and put it inside of it. Okay, once it's done, we'll go for the next step. We have to crack this hash. Okay, so we simply have to run the John and the hash. And now we have to wait for it. It's already cracked. So I'll simply have to make it a show. I can see the password is admin. Okay, so the username is admin and the password is also admin. Okay, let's go to the login page now, and I'll try for the admin, and I have to make the password also as admin. Okay, when I try to click on login, it's just asking for the OTP also. To get the OTP on your system, you have to configure couple of steps on your end. Okay, so one of the terminology which I am using it, I told like at the initial phase itself, I told you like this is the secret key. Okay, so let it be, we'll use that also. Before going further with that, like definitely when you try to simulate the same setup which I am just making it right in front of you, it may create a problem in one case. Like two-factor authentication is creating a problem in the context of if whatever the time slot is present at the target server and on your system, it should be synced, it should be same. Then only this feature will work for you. Otherwise, whenever you're putting the OTP, it's just going to the login page again and again and again. So just to get it done, I'll have to go to the terminal once again, and I'll simply have to fire the command just to identify what exactly the time right now on the target machine. Okay, so I can see like it's 16:59:28. Okay, still I can see that like the time is not appropriate as per the need. It's almost a variation of 1 minute, I can see that. Okay, what I have to do now, I simply have to go to another terminal and I'll try to set the time. Okay, so I'll try to set the time and make it this section completely blank. Let me copy the content from there. I'll copy the content. I'll copy the content from here and I'll put it over there itself. Okay. Perfect. Now what we have to do, we simply have to run this command also, so that we'll have the appropriate time in our case. Okay, so let me run this curl one once again. Okay, I'll just copy the time, go to the terminal, paste this time, double quotes, and it looks like everything is placed. So now the time of my machine and the target machine is synced. Now the OTP will work fine for us. Now to generate the OTP, we simply have to visit this hotel. Okay, I have already configured it, so I'll delete this for you and let me create that. Okay, so what's the secret key? So secret key, we simply have to get it copy from the terminal. We'll just simply have to get it copy this over here. Name we can give it as static and we can select. Okay, and we'll click on add. Okay, now what we have to do, we simply have to click on this, go to this section and paste it. It will redirect to the admin page once again. Now we'll wait for a couple of seconds. Once it's refreshed the OTP once again, we'll use that OTP. Okay, now we'll go once again, click on username password and click over here and we can go inside of it. So you can see this is the appropriate process by which you can go inside of this IT support portal only. So I have spent a lot of time over here just to get it done, and finally I did with that. So that was the main thing. Like these are the steps like you have to take care of it, otherwise you're not able to access this page. It will go in loop and loop and loop. Okay, now we'll go to the next section for it. So once we go inside of it, we can see like it's a type of generating VPN type of stuff over here itself. So what I can do, I can see like these are a couple of VPNs I can see right now. So I'll try to get it generate for the web one. Okay, so let me click on generate and I can see web.ovpn file is generated. It's already present on my system. I'm not saving it, but in your case you have to save the file. Once you save the file, you simply have to go to this section and let me see whether I have this file or not. I have this over here. Okay, so now what is the next step for it? We'll try to connect with OpenVPN, the same file. So let me try to get it access and let's see what's the output we are getting it. So I can see, okay, so in my case, I'll tell you what exactly is happening. So the thing is that like normally initially when you try to get it access this web.ovpn, then at that time it's not established the connection. Unfortunately, what is the main issue behind it? I'll tell you that it's /etc/host/grep 10.10.10.246. So this is the host entry you have to give it from your side, then only it will get it connected with it. Okay, so I have already done it, so that was the reason when I try to get it connected, it's working for me. But if I remove this entry, it will not work. So you have to do this entry. Okay, and where I can exactly get this detail, okay, I'll show you that also. Okay, so when you try to get it up, open this file, so on the top of it you can see over here. Okay, so it's just connected with this remote section. Okay, so put this entry and by this way it will connect for you. Okay, when I try to get it connected with that, it will work fine for me. Now the next step for it, I'll try to access the web page. Okay, when I just make it that once again, and I'll go to the browser once again and try to get it, copy the IP address of the web and try to get it access on a browser. So unfortunately I'm not seeing any output right now on my screen. Okay, so what's the main problem behind it? I have what exactly the IP address is tunnel. What, like, once we get it connected with a VPN, what exactly tunnel is created for us? So we have to get it identify that one also. So I can see over here. So the tunnel one is 172.30.0.9. Okay, that is the one. Okay, so what we have to do, we simply have to put the static root from our side for this one, so that we can access this web page. Let me put this entry, and when I try to get it access once again, let me remove the HTTPS. It's only HTTP. I can able to access it. Okay, so what exactly we have to do over here? It's the same. Okay, we'll have to check that info PHP page. Okay, when I try to go down, I can see there is one section. Okay, so this is a section which we have to consider over here, and this is the version. This is the one level version, and the known Metasploit module is present. So we have to use that same module to get the initial access of the server itself. Okay, so that is the approach over here. So we'll just look for it on internet for the same, and there is a Rapid7 link is available already. I'll just show you that also. So this one is the Rapid7 link, which might take a time to get it load. I think it's loading now. Okay, so this is the link which you have to refer. So unauthorized OS command execution is one of the things by which we can get the reverse shell of it. I can say that a shell of it, not a reverse shell. It's a shell, metadata shell. I'm getting it of the target machine. Okay, so let me configure that same thing on my system. Let me open the MSF console. As the MSF console is now open for us, we'll simply have to load that module by which we can get the limited shell. So let me use this one directly. We'll have to define the path also. So the path is already known to us, like /vpn/login.php. The next section is we have to give it the RH host of it. Okay, so RH host IP address we already know by the portal itself. It's .10. We have to give the local host also. So local host, there is no need to give the IP address. We simply have to define it at tunnel 9. I can say that. And the port also I can give it from my side. That's 9001. Okay, that's the port. That's it. Now what I have to do, I simply have to run the options and just to see whether all the details provided by us is appropriate or not. It looks like appropriate. We simply have to click on run, like type a run and click enter, wait for the output. You get the metadata shell now. Okay, it looks like appropriate. Now we simply have to type shell and we'll get inside of it. We'll try to see what are the rights we are having. It's a low privilege shell only. Okay, now where exactly we are, so we can see /var /www/html/vpn. Okay, so what exactly we have to do now? We simply have to go to /home folder. Okay, so we can see over here also. If you want to access the user.txt, we can get it access, but I'll just have to go inside by another way. So it's better for us to have a appropriate shell with us. So let me go inside of it. Let me see if anything is visible. No, it's not. Okay, .ssh. Let me try to get access this, and yeah, I can able to access it now. Okay, so now we'll simply have to access the private key, and I can see like this is a private key for it. I simply have to get it, copy this, as I have already copied on my system, so nothing like that. I have to do it once again. I'll simply have to get it validate whether it's the same file or not, which I'm getting the content. Yeah, it's a perfect same. Okay, we'll change the permission and try to get it access that only. So we'll change the permission and id_rsa and try to get it access this file, by which we can get the shell. Okay, so what happened normally when we're trying to get it access this, we're like the server asking us to provide the password, and we don't have the password right now with us. So what we have to do, instead of going with port 22, we have to go with port quad 2. Okay, we have port 22, 3 ports are enabled, 8080, port 22 and 4 times 2. Okay, so we'll try with quad 2 port, and by this way we can able to get inside of the server. Okay, we can see. So now we are inside of the server. What do we have to do? We simply have to go to the home folder and we try to get it access. Okay, so you can see over here user.txt file is visible to us, and we can able to read the content of it. So it's a first flag by which we can able to read the first flag. Now we have to proceed further with that. Okay, so like this is the first part of it. Now we'll have to go for the privilege escalation. To get the done privilege escalation, we'll have to go to the portal once again and try to see what other sections is present over here itself. So I can see these are the sections over here, but unfortunately there is only one IP address which looks like different pool network itself, that is 192.168.254.3. okay, so that looks like different. Okay, so let me check the IP address of this. Is there any other network card is also connected? Yeah, so this is a different NIC card is also connected with this, by which we can reach to that one. I can say that it's a type of tunneling by which we can connect to one jump server, and then from here I can connect to another network. So there are two networks. We are just connected with one network only. Now we have one system where we have the accessibility. We can reach to the another system also. So that's the thing which we have to do it over here just to get the access of that system also. Okay, so let me proceed further with that. Once we get the IP address and everything appropriately, we'll try to get it access the same thing on one another system, one another terminal, the same thing. I have to try to get it access that. Okay, but this time I'll put it the port also, port 80, and that IP address 192.168.254.3 colon port 8080. So it's I can say that local host and the remote ports both are defining as port 80, and this is the as a specified distance which we are using it for the earlier one. I'll click on it and wait for it to get it login. Okay, so I'll just get the shell of same system itself, but right now it's just banded with this target IP address on port 80. Okay, what exactly is happening now when I try to go to the website and try to get it access this section. Let me copy this. I'll try to get it access the same setup on port 80. I hope I can get some output out of it. If I'm not getting, so it means I have to connect the same thing on localhost. So now I can see, like, I can get some output of it on localhost as I'm binding my machine with that port 80 and the target machine itself. So these are the third network which I try to get it approached over here, and it's just considered as a localhost for me. Okay, so once its binding is done, we can able to access this section. Now we'll go ahead further with that, and I'll try to open the inspection section also, so that I'll figure out, like, is there any possibility for it, like is there any other thing which we can look around for it or not. Okay, wait for a time. Let me try to get it access this section, and okay. So this is the one which I can see that it's running, and it's exploitable. So we'll try to see the exploit for this one, so that we can get that section also, like we can get it log into that target machine also. We are connected with that network now with this which we have already compromised the system. So we'll just approach for the another system which is in a pool network, same pool network, where our target machine is right now connected. Okay, so now we'll approach for the exploit. I'll have a couple of links. I'll put it in my write-up, so you can take it directly over there itself. I'll go for the exploit directly. So I'll just simply have to clone one of the GitHub repository on my system. Let me put it over here. Okay, it's already cloned on my system. I don't have to clone it, but I'm just telling this, you have to clone it. Once you clone this, you simply have to go to this section. You simply have to go inside of this and make it this file. Okay, so in my case, I can tell you one by one all the stuff. So what you have to do, you simply have to copy this exploit.py file which is present inside of this. After clone, you simply have to copy in your current directory. This is the command giving you the output. Now what exactly you have to do, you simply have to delete this file. If you want to delete the folder, once you get it, copy that, delete that, not a problem. Okay, once I'm done with that, I simply have to get it access this one and try to see whether the exploit.py is available for me or not. It's available for me. Okay, what else I have to do, I'll simply have to make one more file that I call it as deadsec.py, and over here I'll just make it a code from my side. Okay, so what exactly the code and what exactly the stuff is it? So I'll just try to run the listener on my machine which I have already compromised, and the NIC card is 192.168.254.2 and listening on port 9001. Okay, when I triggered this script, then automatically I can get that reverse shell for the target machine. So I'll show you that what exactly I mean by that. So these are the two things which you have to create it over here itself. Okay, other than that, NC is also one of the thing. I think, like, on my system right now, NC is available. If you don't have the NC on your system, please download it. The link is also provided in my write-up. You can take it directly from there just to get it, download the NC. So now all three files is available for us on our system. Now what we have to do, we simply have to get it, copy these files to the target machine which is already compromised for us. Okay, so one by one we'll just SCP the content to our directories of that folder of that target machine, and from there itself we'll just take it forward. Okay, I'll just run this command, wait for the output. This one is done. I'll go for the next command, wait for the output. I'll wait for the output and go for the next command. Perfect. Now all three commands is present on our target machine. I'll go back to us here itself. Let me go to the temp folder and I'll just check whether all the file is present over there or not. I can see all the file is present now. Okay, what else we have to do? We simply have to go to the temp folder over here and I'll simply have to run nc -nlvp 9001. Okay, this is the listener. I have to start it on the it's a one more session I am opening of the same machine just to get the control of the PKI section. Okay, now what I have to do is simply have to run this exploit one. Okay, the exploit.py we simply have to run with Python 3 and this is the path of the target machine. Okay, I'll simply have to run this now and wait for the output. So now we can see like it's RCE successfully exploited. Okay, now what we have to do, we simply have to run that another Python script, that's detsack.py. We simply have to run it, which is already available on our target machine. We simply have to run it and I hope we can get some output. So finally we can see like we get the control of it. Unfortunately something is happening with that machine, so that was the reason it's not bit stable. I've tried couple of times and finally I'm getting it. Okay, so now I can see like once we get that reverse of it. So this is another machine which we have the IP address 192.168.254.3. okay, so now we are on the second machine. After whatever the machine we have compromised it, we have reached to the next machine now. Okay, so this is the machine for it. What's the next step for it we have to do now? So now what we have to do is we have to type id. We can see it's same. We can see over here. Okay, what's the present working directory? We can see /was/www/html. Okay, one more thing which I can tell you over here, at the time when we're trying to get access initially over here, so we can see this is the stuff in our case. Okay, so what exactly is this? Okay, we'll try to find this on our machine. Is there anything related to this is present or not? We'll try to search for that. Okay, so let me look for it. And we can see there is a stuff present is over there itself. Okay, so we'll try to see the code also of it, this file. We'll see like what type of file is this. So that is one of the things we can see over here. Okay, the next step for it, we'll simply have to go inside of the /usr/bin folder. Okay, and I want to see the code of this file. Okay, just to get that accessible, we'll simply have to search for the exact path of it and we'll get the path of the code. Okay, and we'll try to get it access that also. So this is the exact code of that file which we are seeing on our browser. Okay, so I'll simply have to access this and see the complete code. I've gone through it completely, so you also have to read it once. Okay, so now what exactly we can achieve by this way? Okay, that's our ultimate goal. Like what exactly we can do it after this, like if we know these stuffs, what we have to do. So there are two methods over here itself which I can say just to analyze the process. I feel like over here there is something related to the buffer overflow or something like that, which I feel like when at the time of when I'm solving this machine. So like what exactly thing, we just have to analyze the processes running on that machine. But unfortunately, as we are jumping from machine 1 to machine 2 now, just to get it done the analysis, it's not so easy. Like on our machine we can do the SCP very easily, but from there we have to copy some file to that setup. That's a main problem over here. So what we have to do first, we'll simply have to go back to our section, okay, and try to copy the file which is already present on my system. And I can say like there is one, you already heard about it, it's pspy Okay, so this is the analysis type of thing. You can see the logs for it and process logs and everything you can see by this way. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this file to my machine number one, which I've already compromised. I'll try to put it in the temp folder of it. Wait for to get it copy. Okay, now it's copied over there itself. Now I'll go to the terminal and check whether over there it's present over there or not. Yeah, it's present over there. I'll run the Python simple HTTP server over here on port 1337. And now our bigger challenge is we try to fetch that file to our machine 2. To get that done, okay, to get that done, we simply have to go to the temp folder first. And then over here I'll make one directory that I call it as, okay, I think it's already present. Okay, it's already present, so I'll simply have to go inside of it and okay, perfect. So now what we have to do to download a file where nothing else is present over there to get it access, like I just want to copy this file. Right now it's present over there itself as the machine is not resetted. That was the reason it's present over there. It's still, but at the time when you trying to replicate the same stuffs, it's not present over there itself. To just to get it download on machine number 2 from machine 1, how to do that? So there are a couple of ways for it. I just gone through one of Stack Exchange, one of the link, and over there I'm getting one of the complete link for it. I'll show you that link also. Okay, let me open that on my browser, the complete link of Stack Exchange. Okay, perfect. So over here we can see the code of it, which we have to use it over there itself in the context of the curl. Okay, this is the code present over here. I'll simply use the same code over there. Okay, so what I have to do, go back to the terminal. I'll simply have to copy all the content which I have already shown you. I simply have to copy it and paste it. I think shell is hanged. Okay, some problem is there in my VPN. That was the reason I'm not able to access it appropriately. Now it's working for us. Now we'll copy one by one command. There's a lot of content is present over here. Let me get it copy completely and then I'll explain you about it, what exactly the stuff we get it out of it. So by this way, now I can copy, like using the curl, I can copy that PSPY file from my machine 1 to machine 2. So normally that curl is not available over there itself and there is no possibility to get it installed also. To make that working over here, I'll just fire all these commands so that this curl will work for me. And now I'll fire this command straightforward and let's see whether we can get their output or not. I hope it will work for me. Yeah, it's working. So we'll check, and yeah, it's present. So what else we have to do it now? We simply have to change the permission, and now we have to see the logs of it. So along with the logs, one more thing I'm doing it over here. Like normally, like we can fire this command without ampersand at the rate. Okay, this ampersand we can avoid it also. But why I'm using it over here, like I can see the logs, and after that I can use the same shell again and again. Okay, what I mean by that, let me fire it. I'll wait for the output. Okay, so now I can see the output, but when I click on enter, I can come out of it also. Okay, what else we have to do it now? We simply have to run that file once again, which we can see on our portal, and which we try to run that file right now and try to fetch something out of it. Okay, so let me fire that command create. Okay, now a lot of things is coming over here, and there is couple of things which we have to look for it. It's OpenSSL version I'm seeing over here. Okay, now we'll have to write print, and again I can see couple of stuff related to the OpenSSL over here. Now I'll fire the command A once again, and now the B. Okay, and now I can see OpenSSL also having couple of stuffs along with that other than the version. So I can say like couple of things is related to the OpenSSL over here itself. So something related to the OpenSSL which we can use over here just to proceed further for escalation. Okay, so and now we simply have to click enter once, and then you have to type exit, and we'll come out of it. Now what exactly we have to do? We'll go to our base machine. Oh, I have already created this one, but you have to create this. Okay, so there is a link of hacking article, Linux privilege escalation using path variable. So I have used that link. I'll provide that in my write-up also. You can take it directly from there. You simply have to make two-liner code over here, and then what we have to do, we'll simply have to convert this code to base64. So we'll click on it and we'll get the base64 content out of it. Okay, now whatever the base64 content we can see on our screen, we'll go back to our the temp once again, back. Okay, now I'll make one folder pwnpune. Okay, and now what I have to do, cd pune. Now whatever the base64 content I'm getting it over there, I'll try to make that content with the file OpenSSL once again. So what I mean by that, like this is content is just get it converted and making it a file at OpenSSL. So whatever the content we have just make it a base64, now we'll just reverse it and make it that file once again. Okay, so it's the easiest way. Otherwise, like it's difficult for us to get it, copy that file to machine 1 than to machine 2. It's better for us, we have to make it in such a way. We'll fire this and it's working for us. Perfect. Now what exactly we have to do now, we'll try to see the content of it. We'll see the content, and yeah, it's over there itself. We'll try to change the permission of OpenSSL to 755 and try to see whether it looks like appropriate or not. Right now it belongs to www-data. Okay, now we'll change the path also of the pune folder, export path, we'll just change it. Okay, now echo the path. We'll try to see like what we have changed it, it's reflecting over there or not. Yeah, it's reflecting. Now what we have to do, we simply have to run that command once again. Ignore all the tool one which we have to run it earlier. Now we have to run it once again. I'll simply have to run it, and this time I'll type create and then A, and there are a couple of stuffs I can see over here itself. Once again I'll simply have to click enter and then exit. Okay, now again I'll try for ls-al /bin/bash, and I can see this looks like a root. Okay, so what we have to do now, from the same section we simply have to fire this command. So unfortunately last time it's not working, as -p is like this only. So we simply have to run this and we can be a root. Now if I'll run id, I can see like I'll be a root. Okay, I can go inside of the root folder and I can see the root.txt file also. Okay, perfect. So now I'll give you the complete summary of it. This is a big machine. It's a hard machine, and it's really a hard machine where couple of stuff is getting included, either a tunneling, I can say that, a concept of analyzing the logs, making that content to get it copy on machine 2 from machine 1, or make it directly we get it copy from the base machine to the machine 2. So we'll start with port. There are 3 ports is enabled on it in the initial phase, like port 22, quad 2, and I can say that port 8080. Will start with port 8080, trying to get it access that issue. It's not working for us. We'll go for the GoBuster. Then we'll just identify a couple of things like GoBust. We have just identified over there couple of directories. It's successful over there. We'll just try to go inside of it, and by that we just see there is a one login portal is present over there itself, and another subdirectory which is a part of a directory listing. I just try to get it access that file, and it's a corrupted file. We'll try to recover the content of it and try to access it, and we'll get a clue. We get the hash, we get the username. We'll try to crack that hash and we'll get it login. Then the two-factor authentication, we'll try to bypass it, and those things we just have to see it once again. Once we get it bypass the two-factor authentication, we'll get that OTP, we'll just put it then get inside of it. Then after that we'll just see like it's a type of ID support portal where we can get that OVPN file. So we'll get that OVPN file for the web first. These are the couple of 4 servers present over there itself. One server will just fetch the out one file, and then on the basis of that we'll try to get access that. Initially it's not working for us. We'll try to put it host entry, and also on the basis of that only we'll just proceed further with that. We'll get it connected with that. Then after that the steps is like we'll just have to proceed further with that. We'll try to get it access, like normally it's not working for us, then we have to proceed further with the MSF console. We'll just try to get identify like it's a known exploit is available over there itself, which is not accessed directly. Like that IP address, when we try to get it access it directly, it's not working for us. So unfortunately when we trying to get it access the same section once again, then in that case we'll try to make it that to get it exploitable through that, like by that way only, so that we can reach to that level of exploit of XTBIC, and by that way MSF console, one of the module we are using it, and by that we'll get the limited shell. From there we'll just get the private key of the target machine, and that key we have used it to get it login. It's not working on port 22 directly, it's working on quad 2. Then we'll try to get it access by that way, and we can get it inside of it machine. Once we go inside of it, we'll get the user.txt file, but unfortunately that is like one of the machine, we just once we see like network NIC cards, we just see like there is one another network NIC card is present over there on that machine which belongs to another network, and we just figure out like, yeah, it's a another VPN is also present over there. There is one more machine is present over there itself. We'll just try to get it connected with that. So just make it that will try to make it symmetry for it. A known exploit is available in the market. Will try to use that exploit, and by that we will get the reverse shell of that machine also. Will that proceed further with that? We'll try to see the logs. We'll see that OpenSSL is one of the sections for it, which is version is getting spread, and those things. We'll just try to make it a content of it, a privilege escalation one, using some couple of articles. We just use that content and put it on my system, try to run it by that way. We'll just try to get that to reach to the final level, and when we try to trigger like /bin/bash space -p, we get the root. So these are the steps which I just want to get it covered. I know that it's a couple of steps you wanted, like a couple of steps I just covered in this video itself, but like the things which I wanted, I feel like what are the best write-up I can make it from myself. I'll try my best. It may be a possibility a couple of things is not you're not able to understand. Just let me know about it. I'll try my best to get it like make it that appropriate for you once again. But this is the best thing which I can say, that like right now after making a write-up and making the video for you appropriately. So that's all about in this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, subscribe my channel. If you want to give some feedback, please provide the feedback in the comment section of this video. If you like to connect with me, please connect me on LinkedIn. I'll provide the LinkedIn profile link in the description section of this video. Thank you so much once again. Take care. Bye bye.